back to page 7 of Tradition of Excellence for Tenor Saxophone, Book 1. So we've gotten through pages 4, 5, and 6, learned some new notes. Now on page 7, we're going to learn some new rhythms. So not right away at 7, but there's going to be, when we get to 8, we're going to learn some new stuff. So as always, let's look at these colorful boxes at the top of the page. So there's some new terms and symbols on this one, unlike before. So there's that thing that looks like an apostrophe, and it says it's a breath mark. Now, a breath mark is a way a composer can write into music of where you should take a breath. If there's no breath marks, then you just have to use your best judgment and take a breath where you need it. But when there's breath marks, it's specifically saying, oh, breathe there. That way, when you're playing as a section, you can all take that lift at the same time and get a little air back inside of your lungs. Now, the key is when we take a breath, we want to still keep that steady beat. So we're going to have to, if it's like in the number 7 here where there's breath marks, it's right at the end of a whole note. So to avoid being late on that second whole note, we want to take the breath a little bit earlier and just shave a little bit, make the whole note a little shorter. So for example, just squeeze in a quick breath, breathe in really deep, but really fast too. And just make sure you're still landing right on the 1 of the next whole note. And you see how those are divided with a line between the whole notes? Those are called measures or bars, and that line is called a bar line. So when I say measure 2, that's the second whole note. When I say measure 3 of 7, that's where the rest is. Okay, so here we go. Let's play number 7, and let's take a breath every time we see a breath mark. And it starts on an E. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're able to squeeze all the breaths in there. It can be weird at first, and it can be weird not to take a breath and then like get behind on the beat. But really try to stay and keep a steady beat when you're doing that. Now, the other thing is when you're starting a note, make sure you start your note by tonguing the reed. What I mean by that is if I tap the tip of my tongue to the tip of the reed here, if I do a short little tap, but I don't stop blowing, that's a nice way to separate the notes without having to go. It sounds a lot cleaner if I use my tongue rather than just blowing air through to get the note started. So I always start with my tongue on the reed, and I tap it when I want the note to start as I'm blowing. It takes a little getting used to, but it makes it sound a lot more clean. And I don't stop blowing that whole time. It's just when I have my tongue on the tip of the reed, it keeps it from vibrating so it makes no sound. Okay, let's move on to number 8. Now this is going to refer, and you see there's even a little blue box next to it, to the blue box at the top of this page, the rhythm. And we're going to talk about half notes. Now a half note looks kind of like a whole note, but it's got a stem coming down, either from the down from the left or up from the right. And that means it's 2 beats. So if a whole note is 4 beats, half of that is 2 beats. So that's why they call it a half note. And a half rest looks a lot like the whole rest, actually, when you look at it. It's a little box sitting on the bar line. But if you notice, the whole rest is hanging down from the bar line, and the half rest sits up on top of the bar line. And the way I like to think about that is the whole note, because it has 4 beats, it's so heavy that it hangs down from the line, whereas the half rest sits up on the line because it's lighter, because it only has 2 beats. Hopefully that helps you. But it's the way I always like to think about it. So let's take a look at number 8, rhythm time. Now this one we're going to clap in. We're going to clap the rhythm rather than playing it first, just so we can get used to counting half notes. Here we go, number 8. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, rest, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, rest, rest. 1, 2, rest, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if that's tricky at first, go ahead and write in where the counts are, and also you can slow it down. It's way better to play something slow and perfectly accurate and then get it a little faster and a little faster and a little faster, but learn it right. rather than to zip through it and make a bunch of mistakes, because then you learn those mistakes. Whether you practice good things or you practice bad things, it'll generally stick. So you want to practice good things even if you have to do them very slowly. So let's take a look at number 9. Anything that you notice about that? It's the same rhythms as number 8, but now we have notes to it too. So this one we're going to play. Now that we and that's a great way to do that, by the way. It's great if something's complicated rhythms, clap through it first and then play through it, because then you're only worrying about the rhythms and not the rhythms and the notes and the fingerings and all of that. So it makes it a little simple before you move on to playing the whole thing. Here we go. Number 9, half note rock. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, rest, rest. All right, so that's number 9. Give it another shot if anything was tricky. Otherwise, let's move to number 10. Now this one says sight reading challenge, steppin'. Now what sight reading is generally is the first time you play music. Someone puts something brand new in front of you and you look at it and go, okay, here we go. And you try to get it as perfect as you can on that first try. Now some of the tricks are, you don't want to look at it and just start playing. I want to look and go, and it even says it here, always carefully inspect music before you sight read it. So that's okay to do. It doesn't mean you have to do it blindly. So when I look, I go, okay, here's what notes are there. There's a rest there. I have to make sure I see that. Look where that breath mark is. And okay, I think I can do this. So now that I've considered what's in there, let's give it a try and play it. Number 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, rest. All right, how did it go? If you notice, pretty darn similar rhythm-wise to number 9, but different notes. So if it went well, great. If you need to go back and try it again, of course, always do that. But when you're ready, let's take a look at number 11, El Camino Mariachi. Now this is a duet, and a duet is when we're having 2 instruments play, and we may play the same thing, we may play slightly different things, we may play 2 different notes at the same time, and that's when you move from just a melody to a harmony, play some notes that'll have some interesting ways of interacting with each other. So, play this one along with me if you will. We're going to play through El Camino Mariachi. I'm going to play line A, and you play line B, and then when we're done, we'll do it again, but we'll switch. So remember, you are reading line B, and I'll play line A. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. All right, how did it go? Well, let's switch and we'll do the flip. So I'm going to play letter B and you play letter A. 1, 2, ready, go. Hopefully that went well. If you get any really good duets and you want to record yourself playing along with them, please post a link in the comment below. It would be really cool to see how some of these duets turn out. But let's move on to number 12, Cuckoo. And this one says it's a test. I would write in some notes for this one. But once you have everything looked over, kind of like the sight reading one, let's give it a shot. 1, 2, ready, play. Yes, right. All right, so did you get all the notes, all the right rhythms, and catch that breath mark? If you did, congratulations. That's a ton of progress. That's amazing. Let's take a look at number 13. This is something that you'll do with your recorded accompaniment, and this has to do with, I believe, you either get a CD or you get a code in your Tradition of Excellence book. But that's something that we won't cover in this video. But we got through page 7. We've covered 4 pages of music already. And by now we're already playing duets and stuff, so really exciting. We'll see you in our next video. We'll hit page 8. Thanks.